Good morning. I wanted to thank you first for choosing to come on and press play. I do appreciate your support. Today, my message is about prayer and what it takes to help get the assistance from the upper worlds and the angelic realm and from God or from whoever your creator is. So this has come up a few times this week, and trust me, it's actually come up for me. It's something that I've had to learn, and so it's in my energy field. And then I also, the law of attraction says that those who are meant to hear that same message and will benefit from that same message from the one that I learned and able to learn successfully will also benefit you. So let me talk a little bit about this notion of people saying, I pray, but nothing ever happens. So what happens is when you pray, people kind of are putting out that energy that I'm asking for help, right? Which is not always easy for people to ask for help. The second piece is that people feel like somehow there needs to be some worthiness. I can only ask for help. I'm only worthy of asking for help if I haven't made any mistakes or if I'm worthy of it. And when people think that they're not worthy of it, and then they pray, and then what happens is if they feel like they don't get any answers to their prayers, it only serves to support their internal notion that they're not worthy, because see, even God hasn't answered me. Even my angels haven't answered me, when from what I've heard, they answer everybody, right? So clearly I'm not good enough. So let me kind of talk about that a little bit, because when you go into prayer with that notion of I'm just not good enough, even for my angelic realm, even they won't listen to me, what it does is lower your vibrations, right? So I'm not saying that lowering your vibrations means that your angelic realm doesn't listen to you, but what I am saying is when you lower your vibrations, which means that you give yourself some lower energy, it becomes more difficult to recognize the signs that the angelic realm and God and your ancestors, etc., are listening to you and answering your prayers. It is more difficult for you to see those signs and to hear your own intuition, your own guidance when your vibrations are low. So not only do you feel like I'm not being answered because you're not actually hearing what is being given to you, or you're not receiving those messages, but your energy is so low that you're not able to process the answers to your prayers. Okay. So I was speaking to a spiritual coaching client about this week. And she said to me, this is a sort of a self-fulfilling prophecy, if you've heard that before. She said to me, I pray all the time and nothing ever happens. And I've just kind of given up, because even God doesn't answer my prayers. So why even bother, right? And I'm not good enough. So it just perpetuates her internal notion that nobody ever chooses her, even God, right? So let me tell you what's really going on here. So what happens is, one of the universal laws says, you've probably heard this before, ask and it is given. Okay. So if you make a prayer, let's say you say, God, please just put some friends in my path. Let me have some friends that are not judgmental, that kind of take me just who I am, that are a blessing to me. Please just put some friends in my path. Okay. So you pray for that. The angelic realm waits for you to take action to get some friends, right? They don't just kind of go, okay, we'll give you some friends. They will match your energy, your intentions. Now, that doesn't mean that you have to go out and put out ads on Facebook, please be my friend, right? It means that you have to make some sort of movement towards that goal. Because if you say you want something and then you don't take any action towards it, nothing will happen. And they're going to be confused. The angelic realm is going to say, you wanted this, but you're not doing anything about it. Okay. So now sometimes what that means is that when you recognize that the things aren't happening, sometimes that movement and that action towards a goal means that you start to understand, I need some help with this, because clearly I'm doing this and I don't feel that it's helping or working. So maybe that action that you take is actually to call somebody, like a spiritual coach, for an example, or a therapist. And that's exactly what I was saying to my client last night. your spirits have led you to me so that I could explain to you, you need to be able to take some action here. So if you say to yourself, I want to have more friends, and then you kind of just sit at home, you don't call anybody, you don't go anywhere, which, has obviously happened with COVID, right? But there's things that you can do. So I had to say to her, well, you used to do this before the pandemics. I think a lot of people use that as an excuse, well, it's a pandemic. And that is like a reason, but there are ways you can connect with people. So I said to her, like, what's an example of an action that you would take that would show the angelic realm, I really want to connect with some people? And she came up with some things. I could make a few phone calls. She said, I used to write cards to friends of mine, and I'd send them just because. So I would start reaching out to people, or I would go on to one of those groups on Facebook that does regular activities for people my age or that sort of thing. I'm saying, yes, exactly. So all you have to do is start to show the angelic realm, I'm going to be a part of this goal to get more friends. And when you start to do your part, when there is consistent action and movement towards a goal, then they will answer your prayers and they will meet you there and they will exceed your own energy. They just need to see that you're putting energy and movement in that direction, even if that means that you're getting some help to understand what that action would look like, because you're struggling to do that on your own. Okay. The second part is that when your vibrations are lower, because you've already convinced yourself that even my gods won't listen to me, your vibrations are lower. What happens is you, trying to figure out how to put this. When you put yourself in this place of things aren't happening for me, you don't allow yourself to receive things that could actually be messages that your prayers are being answered. So we call this allow and receive, which means sometimes you'll get a little nudge that you don't pay attention to. Like maybe you get something that comes up on your Facebook page that advertises a group, or maybe somebody on your maybe somebody calls you and says, hey, do you want to go out for lunch? And you go, I don't feel like it. Those might be answers to your prayers that God is putting in your path, but you're sort of not understanding it as an answer to your prayer. So you fluff it off and you don't do it. So when you don't allow those things to come into your field, when you don't allow yourself to see those as answers to your prayers, then you don't receive them as answers to your prayers. So you need to allow and receive, so that you can understand that your prayers are being answered and heard. They're not always answered in the way that you see that they're going to be answered. So you need to be open to the fact that sometimes your prayers are not answered necessarily in the way that you expect them to be answered. So you need to allow for the fact that sometimes things are going to happen and you're going to go, oh, right? And sometimes you're not going to see that till the next day. Sometimes somebody else points that out to you, like, hey, did you notice this? And so you need to allow and receive, and to let yourself understand that sometimes things are going to be answered in a way that the angelic realm or that your creator knows is the best way for you, even if you don't see it that way. Okay. So 2 messages today: when you pray and you ask for something, take action going towards that goal or the thing that you're praying for, so that that realm can meet you there and assist you with that. Number 1. And then number 2, allow and receive. Okay, if you allow yourself to get stuck in that energy of even God isn't answering me and I'm not even good enough for God, then you're going to lower your vibrations. You're that's that self-fulfilling prophecy. Okay, if you need more information about this, connect with a spiritual coach so that they can help you understand the universal laws and how they impact you and how you get your intuition and receive blessings. Thanks for listening, everybody.